Arise, queens. This is the All Queens Army, where women are provided with the tools you need to overcome your fears, face your flaws, and experience breakthroughs as you develop self-esteem so strong you emanate royalty. Now, for your host and commander of the All Queens Army, Breizy Time.
Welcome to the All Queens Army podcast. It's your girl, your host, Breizy Time. I am here today with another dope episode for the queens. Yes, honey. Super duper excited for another beautiful motivational Monday in the queen community with all the beautiful ladies. Hey, ladies, how are you queens today? I hope you're having an amazing day. And if it's not amazing, I hope that all of my good positive energy just oozes all over you, honey. So really quick, before we jump into today's topic, which is a good one, okay? I have a couple really quick announcements, so I'm going to jump into those and then we'll get right into today's motivation, okay? As I told you for the last 3-4 episodes now, we have a new website. allqueensarmy.com is new. I had to upgrade the website because the queen community is growing and I have to keep up with what my queens need, honey. So we have updated the website, upgraded the website. It's new, it's beautiful, super exciting. There are some courses on the website that I created that go into more detail of topics that we talk about from the podcast episodes. So you queens know usually podcast episodes are about 30 minutes, maybe 35, but it's not enough time for me to really go into every single step that you need to make some of the adjustments and to overcome some of the stuff that we talk about on the podcast. So as I promised last season, I was going to create some e-courses so that you could move at your own pace and go through some of the steps and things that you need to do to overcome some of the shit that we're talking about, okay? So I made those for you queens. They're on the website. They're free for the queens, so go check them out. There's also a new motivational blog that I write. It comes out every single Thursday morning at 6 a.m. So grab your favorite cup of coffee, grab your favorite glass of tea, and get your morning dose of motivation, okay? Last thing, if you have not yet subscribed to the All Queens Army podcast, you can go to allqueensarmy.com, click on the subscribe tab. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, and iTunes. Choose whichever one of those platforms you prefer. Click on it. You will then be subscribed and get notifications every time a dope Motivational Monday episode is dropped to hear my little old voice, okay? Okay, so let's get started, ladies. So today we are going to be talking about how to stop being taken advantage of, overlooked, and undervalued, or just not valued at all. So queens, you will probably notice that season 3 is all about how to stop allowing different things that are happening in your life from continuing to manifest shit that you don't want. There's so many different scenarios that I'm privy to now that I'm really starting to get to know more of you queens, from DMing each other to commenting and talking back and forth on social media to the emails that you queens send me. I'm really starting to get to know you, and there's some things that I see within you queens and especially within myself that I said, you know what? All of season 3 has got to be about us stopping some of this bad behavior, stuff that we're doing to ourselves that we need to stop, and also things that we allow other people to do to us that we need to stop. And why do we need to stop it? Because we have to exercise self-love. If we don't exercise self-love, we are going to be neglecting our emotional well-being. We talked about that as well this season. We have to take care of our emotional well-being. If we don't take care of our emotional well-being, then we are going to create things like mental health issues in our lives. We're going to start seeing issues pop up within our children, all types of stuff. And we don't want to manifest the yucky, icky bullshit. We want to manifest the good, the bad, the bougie. No, I'm just kidding. No, we want to manifest the things that we want in life. We don't want to keep manifesting the things that we don't want. We're talking about stopping people from taking advantage of you, from overlooking you, and from not valuing you. And the thing about it is the feeling of being overlooked and taken advantage of, or not valued, or not appreciated, or undervalued and unappreciated, it's a really hurtful feeling. What I've learned and what I see a lot of times is, as women, we sometimes try to sweep those emotions under the rug. We say we're strong, and not that we're just saying it like it's not true, but as as women, we pride ourselves on being strong and having strength and being graceful and tough and being able to tolerate things. We pride ourselves on that. That's like a birthright, and it's true. We are strong as hell. But what I want us to do is not normalize bad behavior. I don't want us to tolerate and take so much shit from people that we start to normalize it as if it's okay for it to happen. It's not. Just because you are a mom, it doesn't mean that it's okay for your children to not appreciate you or to take you for granted, because there's a lot of kids who don't have a mom like you, who don't have a mom who would go above and beyond, who don't have a mom who would do the shit that you've done for your kids. And some of the things that you've done for your kids don't even know how difficult it was for you to do the things that you've done. And with that, you have to make sure that they respect and they honor what you do and who you are. They should value that, not because you didn't have to do it, but because they didn't have to be blessed with you. They could have been given a different type of mom, okay? If you're in the dating phase and you're dating around and you're meeting different men and you're just trying to see if this one fits the bill and you're trying to weed through the bad apples and funnel out the ones you don't want, just because someone is going to be weeded out as someone who's not a candidate to be a husband, or not a candidate to meet your children, or not a candidate for you to bring home to your mom, or not a candidate for you to even date or even look at a second time, it doesn't mean that it's okay for them to do fucked up things to you. I know that we say, oh, well, that's how you figure out who's for you and who's not. No, it's not. Queen, you could get yourself to a point where people who don't value you, people who would play with you and take you for granted, people who overlook you or would overlook you for someone else or for something else, honey, you won't even attract people like that. You can make it so that your energy is so goddamn strong that you vibrate at such a high level that they don't even want to touch you. That's where you want to be. You don't want to be in a situation where you're having to school people on how to treat you. You don't want to be in a situation where you're having to tell people that they shouldn't take you for granted. Well, I'm talking about getting to a place where you don't even have to exert that bullshit energy, because someone who doesn't value you wouldn't even fall into your realm of existence. We're talking about elevating your self-esteem to a place where those types of people don't fit into your life at all. And it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter how close to you they are. It doesn't matter what type of relationship you have with those people or not. Understand, Queen, that you can get to a point where you don't even have to be introduced to it to begin with, where all you do is attract people who's waiting for someone who has the qualities and the characteristics that you have, who would never overlook you, who are actually looking for you, not overlooking you. They are looking for you. Someone who would value everything that you bring to the table, and that is what you want. Queens, I need you to understand that when you tolerate bad behavior from anybody, doesn't matter who it is, it could be your mom, it could be your kids, it could be your spouse, it could be family members, it could be friends, it could be coworkers, it could be your neighbors, it could be whoever, grandparents, I don't give a shit who it is. What we tend to do a lot of times is we sweep our feelings under the rug and we make excuses for our loved ones because we say things like, well, they don't mean any harm. Or we say things like, well, girl, that's just the way he is. Or that's just the way she is. Or girl, you know how my mom is. Or you know my dad always getting smart. Or you know my aunt always got something to say. No. When people expect you to do stuff that's more of a privilege and not necessarily an obligation, that's showing that people do not value you. They're taking you for granted. They're thinking that like you're supposed to serve them. You have to be careful of that, Queens, and do not sweep those bad things under the rug. Do not sweep it under the rug when you feel taken advantage of. Don't sweep it under the rug when you feel like you're not being valued by anybody. If you continue to do that, it is self-esteem slaughtering behavior. You're literally chopping away at your own self-esteem. You're giving people permission to treat you badly. You're giving people permission to overlook you. You're giving people permission to not value you. Last week, we talked about creating boundaries. So this week, what we're going to be talking about is self-worth and self-esteem. There's consequences for people making you feel like you're not valued, or people making you feel like they're taking advantage of you, people who make you feel unappreciated. There are negative consequences to you. And the consequences of you not putting a stop to people making you feel undervalued and people making you feel like they don't appreciate you and people making you feel like you're being taken advantage of, every time you allow that to happen and you don't address it and you don't correct that behavior, every single time you do it, it's a chop and a chip to your self-esteem and your confidence. So imagine your self-esteem, your confidence, your self-worth, your self-value being a tree. And every time someone comes up and they show you that they don't appreciate you or they give you their ass to kiss, they're the axe. And every time they do it, they're hitting the tree, which is your confidence, your self-esteem, your self-worth, your value. They're hitting the tree with the X every single time. And you keep sweeping it under the rug. Oh, that's just how she is. Oh, that's just how he is. Oh, he doesn't mean it in a bad way. Oh, he's not trying to hurt me. It's just him. Listen, no more excuses. From 2020 on out, queens, no more excuses for bad behavior. Most of the people in our lives really truly don't mean harm, but it doesn't mean that it isn't harmful. Just because you don't mean it doesn't mean that it doesn't still hurt. So just imagine your self-esteem being that tree. And every time you let someone make you feel those ways, it's them hitting that tree with an X. There's only so many hits that your self-esteem can take before it's completely done. We undervalue the importance of our self-esteem. We undervalue the importance of our self-worth. We undervalue the importance of our values. Seriously, we're undervaluing it so much. And by undervaluing it, what you're doing is neglecting your emotional health. With that being said, I want to discuss how can you stop the people in your life from taking advantage of you, overlooking you, not valuing you. More importantly, how can you stop attracting it to begin with? Now, let me sidebar on the attracting it piece, because a lot of queens are going to try to argue me down and say, I'm not attracting these types of people. I'm not attracting these types of situations. How could I be attracting it? Queens, let me just explain to you really quickly. Everything that happens into your life is a manifestation of something that you believe, think, feel, something that you're talking about, or something that needs to be healed. That's how things are manifested into your life. It's either for healing purposes, it's because of what you believe, it's because of what you think, it's because of what you're saying. You are the creator of everything that's happening in your life. It's how you feel about yourself, how you feel about the circumstance that you're in, how you feel about the thing that's happening, and also things that you need to heal within yourself. A lot of people will say, I don't know why I'm going through this. How am I attracting it? I'm not this way, because they say like attracts like. I don't think that way. I'm not that type of person. Why am I attracting it? Well, here's why. Sometimes you may not be like what you're attracting, so that like attracts like may not be the situation. Sometimes you don't think that way, so it's not that you're thinking it or believing it that's attracting it to you. Sometimes the reason that people, scenarios, situations are being attracted to you is because you need to heal it. It's the universe calling action. It's the universe continuing to wave a red flag to say, hey, here's an issue. Here's a problem that you need to resolve. You're going to continue to go through this same type of situation over and over and over again until you resolve this. Because if it's something that you need to heal, if it's something that the universe is calling you to fix, the reason that it's calling you to fix it is because that's the thing that's blocking you from your next step, from your next blessing, from the next thing that you prayed about, for the next thing that you prayed for your next advancement, for your next promotion, for your next level, okay? You've got to resolve some of this stuff. And sometimes there's things that we have to heal from. When you walk around harboring hurt or bitterness or just anything that's unresolved in your life, if you carry that shit to the blessing that's waiting for you, you could ruin the blessing. So you're not going to be able to get to the next level if you don't resolve the thing that needs to be healed. So sometimes, queens, when you're sitting back and you're listening to the podcast and you hear me say you're manifesting the things in your life, you're attracting the things in your life, you attract what you are, you attract what you believe, you attract what you think. So sometimes when you attract situations where people are taking advantage of you, when you're attracting situations where you feel like you keep getting overlooked, when you're attracting situations where you're not being valued, it's because the universe is trying to heal your self-esteem. Your self-esteem is not where it needs to be. You don't believe you're worthy of the shit that you deserve. You don't believe you're worthy of it. You attract these scenarios where you constantly feel like you're not valued, and you attract these scenarios where you constantly feel like people are just taking your kindness for weakness, and you attract these scenarios where you're constantly disappointed because you feel like people don't appreciate the wonderful person that you are. Let me explain something. If you do not heal that part of your self-esteem where you feel valuable enough, where you feel badass enough, where you feel beautiful enough, where you know that you're qualified, when you know that you're the shit, when you know that you don't take certain things off of people, when you get to that point where you've rebuilt your self-esteem to that place, honey, you won't feel like that anymore. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. The suggestions that I'm going to give to you are all about you and no one else. The bottom line is, queen, you're going to have to work on you. So let me explain. Now, don't get mad at me, queens, when I say this. I want to be honest. I don't want to be direct. So let me just say this and don't get mad, because we're starting to get into the meat and the potatoes of getting into ourselves and uncovering our shit so that we can heal it. Okay, we've got to heal what's going on within us so that we stop attracting the things that we don't want. And as much as you may not want to admit or accept the fact that you're attracting this stuff, you are, queen. And if you really don't understand how you're attracting it, email me, DM me, let's talk. I want to help you through it, because I'm telling you, queens, this was the hardest part of changing my life. I need you, queens, to understand and accept that people treat you the way that they treat you because of you. Let me say it again. Are y'all still here, or did y'all hit stop? I'm done with Bree today. Okay, seriously. The reason that people treat you the way they treat you is because of you. Good, bad, or indifferent. If people are treating you well, it's because you treat yourself well. If people are showing you a lack of appreciation, it's because you don't appreciate yourself enough. If people are taking advantage of you, it's because you don't value yourself enough to stop them from doing what they're doing. It's almost like you don't even believe you're worthy enough for better treatment. Whew, hard, right? Hard to hear, but it's the truth. If you're being overlooked, it's because you don't believe in yourself enough. People are overlooking you because you're not walking around with a confidence level that says, I'm the shit, I can do it, I'm the one, I'm your girl. You're not walking around with that level of confidence, queen. So again, people are treating you the way that they're treating you because of you. It's because of how you feel about you. All these people are doing is being a mirror for you. You're seeing in them what you lack in you. And it's frustrating and it's hurtful, but it's hurtful because it's your lack. So you have to work on your self-esteem. You have to work on your self-worth. I'm telling you, queens, listen, this is not something that I didn't go through. As a matter of fact, it's something that I go through every single day. The most confident queens that you'll ever meet, the most beautiful girls that you see on Instagram with the makeup and the hair and the badass bodies, honey, and the butts popping and the boobs busting, those beautiful women struggle with the same shit. I promise you, I struggle with the same thing. The difference is being aware that that's what the problem is. The reason that I'm preaching so hard today is because a lot of queens that I've had this same conversation with have denied that this is the problem, that their self-esteem, that their self-worth is the problem. They'll continue to say, I know I'm a bad bitch. I know I'm this shit. I'm super confident. It's easy to say how beautiful you are. It's easy to tout all of the accomplishments you've had. It's easy to write a beautiful resume that say all of the things that you've done. It's easy to talk about how great of a mother you are, how great of a daughter you are, how bomb of a friend you are. It's easy to talk about how loyal you are. It's so easy to say how bad of a queen you are. Where we fall short is practicing it, demanding treatment as if we really were what we say we are. See, it's always easy to preach all of the shit that we are. Just like me being on this podcast right now, preaching to you about all of the shit that you need to do and all of the shit that I need to do and all of the shit that I need to overcome. That's the easy part. The hard part is when you actually have to put it into action. Your self-esteem has to turn into an action. Your self-worth has to turn into an action. Your emotional well-being has to turn into an action. You feeling and being valuable has to turn into an action. How do you turn it into an action? Stop tolerating and allowing shit that is beneath your worth, period. I just wanted to drop that one on you, queens. This episode is not like most of the other episodes because this one is so different because we didn't talk about a lot of different solutions. Usually I'll give you like 2-3 things that you can do to work on it. We didn't talk about a lot. We talked about one. Now I'm going to go into how do you even begin working on your self-esteem? For those of you who are still listening and who are open enough to hearing what I'm saying, even if you don't agree, for those of you who are curious enough to even consider, hey, maybe this is where I need to do some work on myself. I'm just going to go through how you can start working on your self-esteem. Okay. Because again, everybody can talk the talk and talk about how great they are, how beautiful they are, how bad they are, how wonderful they are, the shit they don't tolerate. Girl, I don't do this and I don't do that. I hear women do that shit all day, every day, even me. But at the end of the day, we're not always holding to that when it comes to action. We let people get away away with a lot of shit, especially people we love. We make a lot of excuses for a lot of people's behaviors. And so all I'm saying is that that's just a place that we have to check. If we can't even make sure that our friends and our family members respect us, value us, how the hell do you expect to attract a man or a woman who will? I'm just saying, you don't even hold the people in your life accountable for treating you the way that you know you deserve. So why in the world would you be able to successfully attract someone who's a stranger to do that if you can't even do it with the people who are in your life today? So anyway, let me move on. So let's talk about some of the things that you queens can do to start working on your self-esteem and your self-worth. Here's number one. Create and enforce personal boundaries. That was last week's topic. That is actually one of the first and most important steps that you can take. So here's number two. God gave you two hands. Clap for yourself. Be happy for yourself. And if you don't know what you're clapping for and you don't know what you're being happy for about yourself, do a self-gratitude exercise. I actually put that exercise up on the website, so you can go to websites. You can go to the website and click on the resources link, and there is a self-gratitude exercise that you can download. And what the self-gratitude exercise is you writing down every wonderful thing that you can think about yourself, all the good shit. And if you can come up with 5, you can come up with 50. If you can come up with 50, you can come up with 500. Honey, you are the shit. You are so strong. You have overcome so much. You have done so much. You are super smart. You have done things that you didn't even know you could do. You have figured things out that you didn't even know where to start. You are the shit, honey. So if you have any questions about what exactly you are clapping for yourself about or for, go and download in the resources section of the website the self-gratitude exercise and do that exercise. And then once you've wrote down all that dope shit about yourself, now you'll see what I mean when I say clap for your damn self. And the reason I say clap for yourself is because the second step to building your self-esteem is to stop seeking this shit from other people. Stop needing other people to validate who you are. Stop needing other people to validate how good of a job you did. Now, it's always awesome for someone to compliment you. It's always awesome for someone to say, nice job, you're smart. That's great, but don't be dependent on it. If they do it, it's extra. It's nice to hear. It's wonderful. It's complimenting who you already are, but you don't need it. You have to take that power away from other people, because if you get your positive energy about who you are from other people, honey, you are dependent on those people to make you feel how you need to feel. And that's the problem. That's where the self-esteem gets messed up. Okay. So make sure that you take a moment to identify all the great shit about you and then clap for your damn self. And here's even a step further. In those moments where you feel unappreciated or you feel like you're not being valued, go back to that self-gratitude document and reread all that good shit and realize that the person who's making you feel undervalued, take the power away from them and say, you know what? I don't even need you to recognize me. I don't even need you to acknowledge that I'm the shit, because I know I am. You have to just change that perspective. Take the power away from the people who are making you feel unappreciated or overlooked or being taken advantage of, okay? So again, clap for your damn self. Here's the third thing that you can do. For the people who are making you feel this way, when they're intimate relationships, like I said, your kids, your spouse, your mom, your dad, something like that, communicate how you feel. Communicate. Tell the person that they're making you feel unappreciated and tell them why. Okay? Because you treat those relationships with a little bit of a different care and compassion than you treat regular people, because these are your people. This is your family. These are your loved ones. Okay? So make sure that you're communicating, telling them how you feel. If you're not comfortable communicating with them verbally, write it down, write them a letter or something like that, until you build up enough courage to actually have those conversations in person, okay? And then here's the last thing. Practice the law of attraction. The law of attraction is one of the e-courses that's out on the website if you want to do that. And the reason that I say practice the law of attraction is because, remember, the law of attraction gives you back what you give. Who you are is what you attract. And so if you don't feel like you're being appreciated enough, if you don't feel like you're being valued enough, if you feel like you're being overlooked, then try and do this. Maybe you should start showing more appreciation for some of the people around you who are good to you. Maybe you should make sure you're not overlooking some of the people in your life that you're not paying that much attention to. Maybe you should show that you value someone or value something in your life that maybe you're not showing enough value to, because that's the other side of this. Sometimes what we're asking for, what we're seeking, what we need, we're not getting it because we're not giving it. Now, all of this stuff makes you take a hard look at yourself. And that's what makes this so challenging, right? Because you have to take a look at you. All of this is about you. If you've noticed this this entire episode, all we're talking about is you not seeking outside validation. Because if you don't feel worthy about yourself, you're never going to attract scenarios, situations, and people who feel like you are worthy, because it starts with you. And the opposite is true as well. If you're not showing value to other people, it's probably why you're not attracting people who value you too. Goes both ways, queens. Now, trying to figure out which side of that coin or which side of the spectrum you're on can be a little challenging. I have created the e-courses for that very reason. Make sure you go to the e-courses and take advantage of them. They are free. I made them for you for this very situation because I've given you the steps, but it still takes a little bit more than that, right? You're going to have questions, queens. This isn't something that's a super simple thing to do, but it's worth it because it's your life and it's how you feel. And if you're tired of being tired, of your life not being where you want it to be, of not attracting the kind of relationships that you want to have, of just feeling frustrated with the way shit goes in your life, then All Queens Army is exactly where you need to be. Now you just gotta do the work. And I'm here to help you with that. You deserve the life that you want, okay? I deserve the life that I want. Hell, we all deserve the lives that we want. And we can have it. We just have to do the work, okay? And also we have to be open, being open to learning what it is that you're doing that's creating what you're experiencing. Because if you truly believe that you're not the reason that you're experiencing what you're experiencing, if you truly believe that something else or someone else is in control of that, then I'm sorry, queen, you're never going to find what you're looking for in this life. You're never going to achieve the happiness and the fulfillment that you're looking for because you're giving the power to someone else. You're blaming someone else. You're saying someone else is the problem. You're saying someone else can fix it. And that's not true. It's you. It's all you. It always has been and it always will be. And the fact that you're creating some of the things that you don't want is so fucking empowering and powerful, because if you can create the shit you don't want, it means that you are a creator. And then that means that you can create the shit you do want. So let's get to work, ladies. I talked about the resources that are on the website, the self-gratitude exercise. Take a look at it. Try it out, queens. I'm telling you, it's really, really powerful. And try out some of the courses that are relevant to this particular topic. With that being said, queens, that's the end of this episode. I hope you got something from it. I hope y'all not mad at me for saying that it's you, girl. You need to fix your self-esteem. Don't be mad at me, queens. Y'all know I say all of this with love. Really. I say it with love. I say it with compassion. I say it because I'm in this with you. I go through the same things that I'm talking to you, queens, about every single day. No one is ever going to be 100% healed. No one can speak to you from that place. All of us are a work in progress, myself included. Okay. So I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. If you're not mad at me, tune in next week because you might get mad at me next week. If I didn't piss you off this week, I might piss you off next week. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I love you, queens. I know you queens love me too. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Monday. And I will be talking to you, queens, next week. I love you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the All Queens Army podcast. If you want to connect with Breizy Time and the All Queens Army, be sure to follow them on IG and Facebook at All Queens Army. Or head over and check out the All Queens Army YouTube channel. Until next time.